the Anishinaabe program. It's a traditional program, and I guess everything that we do is based on the seven grandfather teachings, uh, the respect, honesty, humility, truth, bravery, wisdom, and love. And what we do is aim to provide traditional based holistic health, well being, and healing programs and services to the seven First Nations communities that we service, and to provide access and to support healing ceremonies and give that if they need emotional and cultural support, we will do that. So basically, that's what the program is. But we also provide opportunities for cross cultural education or learning for persons of all nations to enhance their cultural awareness, uh, sensitivity, competence, and safety, so that the Indigenous people will feel respected and empowered, and that their culture and knowledge is acknowledged. So we do that with our workers, with the staff from Nojmo and Tech, and we also work with the hospital, and they have a cultural competency program now, and which they didn't have before. But I guess at some point they did, but it kind of like um, they weren't using it. Now they're trying to bring it back, and so they have done asked the staff what kind of learning things that they want to know. So they're working on that, and I'm helping them out. We also have a hospice unit at the hospital, and so they wanted some cultural teachings and knowledge about the people that are dying and that, and so we've done that. And when they were working on that room, I made sure that the bed is faced a certain way as the person is dying. You know, like our people, they say they want to face the west when they're dying, so the bed can be moved in that position. And I said your window has to be open when the person has died, so to let the spirit free. And so they have made that change in that one room from where the window can be open, whereas before, I guess, I don't know, they made sure that you can't open all the windows in the hospital, eh? Yeah, so they've done those, and then they've worked the programs, and then all the staff had that the opportunity to say what they needed. And then we're doing the same thing here with Nojoint staff, eh? That um, because a lot of them are non-Aboriginal, and so we would like them to know a little bit about the First Nations people, because these are the people that they're going to be servicing, and for me, that's very important for the staff to know who they're serving. To know a little bit about their history, to know a little bit about our way of life in that. And so we've developed what we call cultural teachings, and we have them once a month, from 12 till 1, and we invite teachers to come in, our traditional teachers, uh, and to share their knowledge about different things. So uh, I think this past year we had water teachings, how to approach a traditional healer, an elder, or medicine person. We had somebody talk about the four sacred medicines. We had somebody come in to talk about the rain dance and the sun dance, and somebody to talk about the sweat lodge, and we had somebody come in to talk about feast and giveaways. Um I did the one on the spirit journey, say the end of life and that. And we had somebody else do name and colors, and moon and moon times. We didn't quite do that one. Maybe next time. And we just had the clan system. And then we have some topic on natural medicines coming up at the end of March. So, yeah, and so we're planning for next year to what our topics are going to be. So I've given the staff a list of topics that they could choose from, or they could add additional topics if they wanted. And so and the staff are gradually sending in their answers, to pick the 12 topics that they would like, and I'll pick the top 12 for next year, for the whole year and we'll find somebody to come in and present on those. And the teachings are usually in the healing lodge. People come in and we go in there for an hour, and the sacred lodge keeper, the fire keeper, is usually here the same day. And so the fire's going, and people will listen to the presenter, and we can offer that on OTN too, for somebody who lives way out in Jibosing or Shishigwani, for them to come here for a 1 hour session, that's an hour and a half it takes them to drive here. That's quite a distance. And so we can put it on OTN if they wanted to, and then they can watch it where at their own place of work, eh? But a lot of people are still afraid of that technology, and so will not allow filming, eh? And so we have our IT person here will set up the camera and everything, and we'll program it for an hour, and then it'll take your picture, and then it'll be stored online for I think it's a year, and people can watch it at their leisure, eh? We have to think about the people who can't come in to do it, and so I think it's important for them.
Yes.
And it's important for the staff from Knowledge Point to participate, but it's kind of hard because, everybody's busy, so we have a few people that come in on for those sessions, and the numbers vary, and the people vary. Some will come, and then some other people will come at another time, eh? Yeah, so that's why I was trying to get whatever topics that they would like. So those are the ones that we would be presenting for, like, starting April
Nice.
for the next year.
Nice.
So that's part of the education part that we're doing for them to know more. Like, because if they're going to be working with our people, they have to know a little bit about, and that's important. So, and having been a nurse for 50 years, I know how our people are, what they'll share, what they don't share, for strangers coming in, and and how to develop that relationship, and
Yes.
and you have to respect our way of life. So um, I think that's very important. The importance of learning our history.
Yes.
Um, and one fast way of learning it is by doing the blanket exercise. And I know I've been involved in doing. I've been helping an individual, and we've gone places to do the blanket exercise, and then I went for to be a facilitator. I went and took the course, and so now I've done a few, and we're going to be doing one next Monday here,
Nice.
because I think it's important for the staff to know the history, of the about the land and the losses that we've had, and the residential school and that. So, that's going to be very important, and I hope most of the staff come to that. Not only that, but also, like, we learned the history in that 1 hour, but it's not. It's only 1 hour, So I think it's important for people to know more about this, even our own people, eh? Like, we don't even know our own history, and so I think this will help them to get that knowledge. This is what happened, and this is what we're suffering from, that all those losses that we've had, eh? Yeah. So, and I've been involved in this reconciliation after the TRC, and the calls to action that they've had. So, and I've looked after um, the Jesuit scholastics. Like, these are the young men who are learning or studying to become priests, and they came for cultural awareness last summer. The summer before, some of them went to Saskatchewan, Regina, and they had some cultural things there that they had to do. And then Wiki was chosen to be the next site, so I was the facilitator, and so I had to arrange for the weeks that they were here, and the topics that they would be learning. I had to find the teachers that would teach the different topics, and so that they understand. And we also did the blanket exercise with them. We also had a mini residential school workshop for their benefit, where I invited people that went to residential school to share a little bit about what happened to them, so that way they would know what's still affecting the people, eh? Because a lot of people have not shared, and they hold it inside, and and it's not good sometimes, So I think, for, like, if you're looking at education, even in the schools, like, I think it's important to teach the history of our people, what happened to us, and all the treaties and the movements and all that that we've gone through over the years.
Yes.
Important for the students to learn it, because we never got that in school when we went to school. Nobody talked about and what did they do? They call us savages and all that kind of stuff. So you know so we're trying to correct all that, I guess, and that's why I'm involved in a lot of the reconciliation events and to talk about reconciliation and that. Not only in the communities, but also working with the bishops, because they, like they want to work with the people in the Aboriginal people, and so
Yes.
I'm helping them over there, and so that they understand what's happening and what they need to understand, and
Yeah.
I was invited to go to a conference in Toronto where they were talking about reconciliation, so they had a lot of good speakers, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, and I was asked to do the smudging, but then wouldn't allow the smudging in the building, so I had to stand outside for an hour holding the smudge bowl, smudging everybody as they were coming in, eh? I suppose it is if I can be involved in a lot of areas, and I am already, to push the people that yes, we need this kind of information. These are the resources you need. These are the people that know a little bit about the history. Use these people, like the first-hand knowledge part, eh? Not because there's not too much written in the books, and it's not accurate. So maybe pushing for accurate history, you know, and there are people who have taken history and know that this is not right what's been written, so having that correction be made, and teaching her, make sure that it's in the curriculum, so if I can help that way, I think that would be good, and that it would be up to the higher ups that have the funding to fund those kinds of projects, and if people demand it, say, use your voice and say, yes, we want this change, we want this information. Quite often I've been in nursing for 50 years, and so I've seen a lot of things in the community, and how it's affected our health, our mental health, and our spirituality, and to help these people, to I suppose have a better life, and that's always my wish, for improved health. And sometimes it's hard to say that there's been a big improvement, but there has been a big improvement in health, even from 50 years ago, and people are learning to speak up. So it's just helping them, getting their voice, and not to be afraid to ask, or demand, And so it's mentioned that we're having that residential school conference coming up next week, and and our theme is reclaiming losses for next generation. So we're looking at, there's still that hurt in a lot of our survivors that they haven't shared. So even to look at that, and then to bring in the youth, to learn about what really happened and how these people are suffering and how we're suffering. The young people are suffering because of what happened, and to kind of say, okay, hopefully we're trying to make things, or to try change things to make it better for our children, our grandchildren, our great grandchildren. So that's what I'm hoping here for, and the one thing that we're going to bring in is we're going to bring in children who are learning how to drum, because it's the immersion class in Chiging that they have a group of children and they can drum and they can sing. So I'm bringing those in on the one morning, to just to show the people, yes, because this is our next generation who've learned how to drum and how to sing. So that's what I'm hoping, to really promote that, like. And I will say, like when I went to residential school, and I heard about that residential school being demolished, and I said, oh, I want to go there. So we stopped there, and all the rubble was down on the ground, and all. I said, oh, what is that? 3 steps. There's this door frame, and the door's closed. I said, why did they leave that? everything else is down, eh? And then I thought, oh, okay, because had gone to a healing conference or a healing workshop in Yellowknife, eh? And brought back to mind like what we had talked about there, and how this one guy says, we're always looking back at our history, and blaming, and shame and all that, that, or say, oh, that's, that resignation, that mono, that's what we say, eh? Mono. And because nothing's changed, no change is going to come about, And I said, yeah. I said, okay, so here's his school down, but the door is here. It's closed. Go up the stairs, open the door. Oh, no residential school. So what's there for us? The future.